Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Charles Hoskinson is ready. Remember, I said the Giga Chad bull run is coming. We are going to see a $250,000 Bitcoin and trillions of dollars entering the space for altcoins. The Genius Act and the Clarity Acts will be the catalyst. So, if we take a look at the Clarity Act, here's what it says when I asked Google, when will the Clarity Act be passed? It aims to establish a more structured regulatory environment for digital assets by clarifying oversight's responsibilities, enhancing transparency for investors, and facilitating increased competition by reducing compliance costs for smaller cryptocurrency developers. Doesn't give us a date. And of course, the Genius Act, let me just type that in there. Genius Act was passed on June the 17th by U.S. Senate. There was a bipartisan vote, 68-30, signaling broad political support for stablecoin legislation. So guys, this is now where we are at in terms of Bitcoin. Bitcoin did reach a new all-time high today. I guess we could say today, technically. Just even within the last hour. This is the Bitcoin chart on the hourly, and we actually did see almost $119,000 for Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is retracing a little bit. If I throw that on the 5-minute, going to put it on the 5-minute because now that activity is rocking and rolling. I think, it's going to get more exciting here in the space. I did just post a Patreon update yesterday for my Patreon subscribers. And if you guys aren't a Patreon subscriber yet, subscribe if you're interested in knowing more details about my thoughts when it comes to, cashing out. XRP cash out targets are a hot topic too. So patreon.com/Working Money Channel for all that information. As you guys can see on the 5-minute, Bitcoin is retracing a little bit. We're seeing a lot of selling pressure right now for Bitcoin. So 118,000. We did top out there. But again, this is only the 5-minute chart. I think, this is still just the beginning for Bitcoin. Here, let me throw that back on the daily. And I'm going to take the fib from the most recent downturn for Bitcoin on the daily. And it doesn't look like we are actually seeing any kind of significant level that has been reached. I mean, if we do get up to $131,000 per coin, I could see us hitting another wall of resistance, but we still yet to get there. So, in the moment, the 5-minute chart, the 10-minute chart, whatever it is, we don't take it too seriously in the moment, especially if we're not day trading, which we're not doing. But the crypto market is looking very, very healthy now. All of a sudden at 67, market cap is up. Of course, it's at 67. The market cap is up by 6.44%. We've got extra volume entering the space. Altcoins are slowly starting to become alive. Ethereum has just hit $3,000. So that's a big deal too. Ethereum's up over 7.7%. XRP is up 8.17%. So that's the other part of this story. XRP, guys. XRP. This is the 15-minute here. Let me throw that on the 5-minute first. We'll take a look at the 5-minute chart, and XRP has seen an intraday high. Look at that, and it's still actually very strong. Looks like the momentum is still quite strong there. Look at the volume down here. A lot of green candlesticks. Currently, the top for XRP was $2.6527. And guys, we're very, very close to breaking that resistance now at about $2.6596. So are we going to break out of that with conviction? That is the next question. And that is, I think, what's on everybody's mind here. If I zoom out, you guys can see. Let me just get rid of the first one there. Yeah, they're so close together, but you guys can see getting up above that level there is going to be key. So we're bouncing off of it right now, $2.65 for all intents and purposes, $2.66. Let's see if we can break up past that. No matter where you look, the next step for Bitcoin seems to be at $170,000 and $180,000. So this coming from CryptoCon here on Twitter, using a 5.618 extension from the earliest move of the cycle has given us almost pinpoint accuracy for previous cycle tops. This time, the golden number is $184,181 specifically. All the boring price action is coming to a squeeze. It can't stay that way forever. So taking a look at Bitcoin now, what CryptoCon is projecting, that we're going to go up, that we're venturing towards $184,000 per coin. So that's an interesting prediction. I mean, there's still a lot of room for Bitcoin to grow. I'm going to throw that on the weekly, and I'm going to take the trend. I'm going to take it from the last bull run. I mean, this is typically how we plot out our fibs. Still a lot of room to grow. I mean, the 2.618 brings us to about $156, but then we got the 3.618 bringing us to 210. So clearly what he's doing, and again, my predictions too aren't necessarily just based on a basic fib. We're looking at a bunch of things, but he's projecting 184. Another big thing to look at is Bitcoin dominance. And guys, it's actually starting to trend down. Let's take a look at that for a second now. This is Bitcoin dominance on the weekly. And as you guys can see, we have hit that 65% level that we saw back in here, November 2020, before Bitcoin did go back down. And so now it's looking like we may see a turnaround. We've had 3 weeks in a row of negative selling pressure for Bitcoin. Now it's going to be about how strong are the altcoins going to be vis-a-vis Bitcoin. Then there's, of course, which I already touched on, the XRP range breakout and how it hit perfectly yesterday, this courtesy of Crypto Insight UK. So just still looking at that same thing. Got to get up above $2.66, though. I mean, that is critical for XRP. Just going back here, just to show you guys that XRP is looking very, very healthy. Here, let me throw this on the Bitstamp chart. XRP looking very, very healthy here. If I throw that on, can we glean any more if I throw this on the 4-hour? Put that off auto, and let's just see the trend here for XRP. Trending what Crypto Insight UK was noticing was that this trend has finally broken out, right? This is what we needed to see. Finally broke out, and now we're trending upward again. That next level, 266. So, guys, it's still anybody's guess. All eyes on Bitcoin first. Then we're going to see what the rest of the crypto market does. And again, for more information on how I'm treating this market, follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Wanted to thank Crypto Insight UK. Wanted to thank Moon Lambo, of course, CryptoCon. Blockchain backer, Charles Hoskinson. Oh yeah, I didn't even get to the blockchain backers tweet here. Boy, so much is going on. ABC corrections going on, and basically all he was saying was we've seen the ABC correction several times before. Bitcoin on the 8-hour, Bitcoin on the 1-hour, Bitcoin on the 2-day chart before it finally does break out. So now that the breakout is confirmed, how high is Bitcoin going to go? This is part of it, only part of it, because we can get excited all day long. But guys, what it's really about, having a plan and taking profits. Do not round trip your crypto. I made that mistake in the last bull cycle, and this is why I'm changing it up. I've made a concerted effort to make sure I have a very strict plan and not to rely only on price targets. I'm looking at other things. I'm looking at a myriad of things before I decide to cash out. Tony Edward here also giving us some good advice. 5 bull market tips. Have a profit-taking plan. Yeah. This is the most important. If you're planning to take profits, write down your strategy, define clear price points at which you will take distributions and stick to them. The problem with this, okay, I'm just going to say, the problem with this is if you have clear price points that are not realistic, then you might round trip your crypto by accident. That's the problem with that point there. Plan how you'll use the money. Okay, some of us may earn life-changing sums and risk falling into sudden wealth syndrome. Decide in advance how you'll allocate your gains, whether it's paying off debt, making purchases, contributing to retirement accounts, or reinvesting. Prepare for your taxes, guys. A portion of your profits will go to the tax man. Don't get caught off guard. Consult a qualified accountant to understand your obligations. Notify your bank. Before transferring funds from your exchange to your bank account, notify your bank so that you potentially don't get frozen out. I've heard some horror stories of people not notifying their bank and then all of a sudden sending, hundreds of thousands, if not over $1 million into their bank account. Then their bank's like, whoa, what the heck is this? This is unusual activity. And their bank account just by default decides to freeze them out for security concerns. Crypto transactions can still trigger red flags in a traditional banking system. Number 5, he says, stay private. Avoid sharing how much money you made on social media or with too many people. Publicizing your wealth can attract unwanted attention and pose security risks. So I think, many of these are very good points. The first point I have questions about. John Deaton here also commenting. So an update here, guys, with regards to Link 2. If you're a Link 2 customer or private equity holder, stay tuned. Apparently there is a thing for tomorrow. Now, he posted this yesterday, so this was supposed to be for today, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He says, I'll go over the next steps in the bankruptcy process. Many of you have received emails about participating on the creditors committee. I'll explain what that means and go over what I need to do. I'll also explain why I filed the case against the former founder and CEO and what it means and how it relates or doesn't relate to the bankruptcy process. But know this, there's between $500 million and $2 billion million in customer investor money, not Link2 money on the platform as part of the bankruptcy. So he is saying there's a very good chance, I guess. I don't know if he's saying this, but it sounds like he's saying there's a very good chance that people will be made whole, people who felt like they got scammed. I know a lot of folks are nervous and experiencing a lot of anxiety because they have a substantial percentage, if not all of their retirement funds locked up on the platform and at stake. Don't let the naysayers convince you that your money or your investments are gone and lost forever, and that you'll only get pennies on the dollar. That is not true. Now, John Deaton did update this. I had to move the live cast originally set for today, which is today now, until tomorrow, same time. So now it is at Friday. So that is today, guys. Friday, if you guys are watching this video on the day that I'm releasing it, the live cast is today, 2:30 p.m. John Deaton did have to change that up. So for those of you guys invested in Link2 and you want to check that out, you got all that information, and I'll link this in the description of the video for you. Zmen Wallet, guys, put out a bit of a note here. Due to increased demand and activity, some users may experience temporary outages in the Zmen wallet. Now, Zmen is a hot wallet. I personally love cold storage. I mean, hot wallets are cool. They serve a different purpose, but to keep your crypto safe, personally, I use the Ledger Nano. I do have an affiliate link in the description of the video. I'm continuously mentioning this because, you know, a lot of people maybe new to crypto might not really have a grasp on where to keep your crypto. A lot of people just keep it on the exchange, and that has its benefits, but also there's downsides to that. And sometimes we see network activity problems. So if you self-custody in cold storage, you generally don't have those problems. At least I've never had those problems. Again, the affiliate link is in the description of the video. You can use my affiliate if you want. You don't have to use it, but I love the Ledger Nano. Like I keep saying, it's never given me a problem. And even if you do not want to use my affiliate link, that is fine. You can choose another option. Make sure though, guys, you keep your cryptocurrency safe. I'm not saying Zmen is a bad product by any means, but you know, sometimes this kind of thing happens as we are seeing you know, more bullish activity in the space. Volume in the space, it's just going to add to more congestion. So be sure you guys have a plan, many plans really, in order to make sure that you have control of your cryptocurrency. So anyway, I wanted to thank Zmen and John Deaton for posting that, as well as Tony Edwards. Michael Branch bringing this to our attention, guys. VChain, so one of my legacy cryptos that I've been holding since last bull run, also part of my Patreon $15,000 plus portfolio. This company's just connected to 40 blockchains with VChain Bridge. The integration brings VChain's decentralized interoperability infrastructure to VChain Thor with VChain and other native tokens set to benefit from further adoption across decentralized exchanges, staking platforms, and liquidity pools. VChain said in a post on X that it's also eyeing adoption for its tokens across lending protocols and other ecosystems in the rapidly expanding decentralized finance market. And guys, there's a quote here: partnering with VChain to launch their first ever cross-chain bridge is a game changer for their blockchain interoperability. This coming from Temujin Louis, Chief Executive Officer of VChain. This integration connects VChain Thor to the most used chains, unlocking seamless asset transfers and fueling new kinds of real-world focused innovation. As well as vet other VChain assets that could get a boost from the cross-chain integration include VTHO and B3TR or better. The VChain team did note. Here's some more information about VChain Thor, but the interoperability of the Ethereum virtual machine and non-EVM support includes top chains. So that's another interesting aspect of this, such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, the XRP ledger, and BNB chain. So they're making this interoperable as well. VChain, guys, another great project, you know, based out of China. They've been making waves. They have notable partnerships as well, like BMW. I believe also companies like Walmart and McDonald's in China specifically. They started in supply chain management, but we have seen this particular company grow by leaps and bounds over the years. So wanted to thank Michael for posting that. Guys, I also happen to see this from Smoke. More anti-crypto policies are being quietly revised. So this is something that we're not necessarily hearing about in the news. These policies and guidance should be rescinded or substantially revised. So discussing these particular policies that were put in the last administration, but the rescission or substantial revision of this guidance is only the first but not the last necessary step towards promotion of U.S. leadership in the digital assets and financial technology ecosystems. Part of this has to do with the IRS removing the controversial crypto broker tax rule requiring non-custodial service providers to file customer transaction info. So guys, this is a game changer too. The U.S. Department of the Treasury, especially if you live in the United States, the U.S. Department of the Treasury and the Internal Revenue Services formally removed removed a crypto broker rule that had required decentralized exchanges and other protocols to submit customer transaction information for tax purposes. The official repeal ends a years-long saga surrounding this controversial crypto tax rule, which many crypto advocates said was theoretically impossible to enforce. While the Treasury's rule aimed to increase financial transparency, others argued it raised privacy concerns while stunting the nascent decentralized finance sector and crypto industry more broadly in the United States. And so, guys, here's a quote. Under the joint resolution in the operation of the CRA, the Congressional Review Act, not to be confused with the Canada Revenue Agency, which is the tax authority, it's like the IRS in Canada, and this final rule has no legal force or effect. The Treasury wrote in a Thursday release, the Department of the Treasury and the IRS hereby remove this final rule from the Code of Federal Regulations and revert the relevant text of the CFR back to the text that was in effect immediately prior to the effective date of this final rule. A lot of these rules were brought in place by, like I said, the Biden administration. And now that, there is a new administration in, they are looking to reverse these. So, it is demonstrating that the United States is serious about crypto. Wanted to thank Smoke for posting that. Guys, there's also a little bit of Ripple partner news that I wanted to share with you today as well. GeoSwift, UnionPay, and Western Union are offering tuition payments. Now, GeoSwift was one of those smaller companies that integrated into a larger company committed to running on the XRP ledger. I forget what that company's name was, but GeoSwift specifically, now they've been added into this agreement. As per the agreement, UnionPay will pay for medical insurance coverage for eligible students, process tuition payments through their payment network. The National Bureau of Statistics of China reported that roughly 460,000 Chinese students studied abroad in 2014. Open Doors data from the Institute of International Education estimates about 60% of those students attended universities in the United States. As these numbers rise, so does the number of Chinese students without healthcare benefits in the country. And so GeoSwift, okay, they're the company. They're a payments technology company connecting China to the rest of the world. This company is comprised of payment technology experts, and by combining this deep understanding of the industry, technology, and global and China monetary policy, GeoSwift now provides these clients with a customized one-stop shop cross-border payment solution to and from China. So coming to and from China specifically, GeoSwift running on the XRP ledger by extension and tapping into the roughly 460,000 Chinese students that were studying abroad. Again, this is from 2014. These numbers are fairly old. A lot more students do study abroad today. So, modernizing a payment system for a new world. And guys, again, running on the XRP ledger. This is one example, just one more example of how these utility cryptocurrencies are really going to start pumping, I think. I think those are going to be the ones that do see the most gains, potentially, depending on if we're done with the speculative 4-year cycle theory. There's going to be a lot, Pepe is still gaining a lot of traction, for example, 14%. So meme coins are still popular until they're not. We're going to have to wait and see, guys. The good news is that we are getting more and more inclination that serious people are entering crypto. Vivek here with this one, 270 billion. Okay, Edelman just urged financial advisors to put 40% to Bitcoin and other crypto. That is the largest number I've heard so far. Listen to this.
Moment to talk about this allocation recommendation that has changed for you. You made some waves by announcing at your conference about a week or so ago that you recommend up to 40% to this new asset class. So break that down for me, because you've got sort of the people that are a little more risk averse and different allocations depending on your needs and your age and your spending habits. So break it down for us. How much should we allocate to something like Bitcoin?
Yeah, I've kind of blown up the internet with this. It's getting massive amounts of attention. My white paper was released, like you say, a week ago following our annual crypto conference. And I'm arguing now that a conservative portfolio should have a 10% crypto allocation. Moderate portfolio should have 25%, and aggressive investors should have 40% crypto allocation. We talked about one part of the reason, the bond market, the fact that bonds are not going to be the safe haven in the future that they have been historically. The other part of the reason is longevity. We're living longer than has ever occurred in human history. In 1900, life expectancy was 47. Today, it's 85. And if you're alive in 2030, the scientists are telling us that odds are very high you'll live to age 100 or beyond. which means retiring at 65 with a 60-40 portfolio is simply out of date. It's not going to generate the returns you need for your money to last as long as you're going to last. So having 40% of your money in bonds is no longer acceptable. And when you look at the typical glide path, by the time a client is 75, they've got 60% in bonds, 70% in bonds. It's ridiculous. It's out of date. It's obsolete. We need to throw away the 60-40 portfolio and replace it with 80-20 or 90-10. And if you're going to have 80 or 90% of your money in equities, we've now got to decide which equities. And we need to be focusing on the companies that are building the future. Exponential technologies, robotics and AI, of course, also 3D printing, big data, nanotech, biotech, bioinformatics, neuroscience, and of course, blockchain and digital assets. So I'm arguing in an 80-20 portfolio, half of the 80 should be in crypto for an aggressive investor. Even conservative investors ought to have a 10% exposure. Nobody has ever said this anywhere. It's kind of blowing up the internet. I encourage you to read my white paper that explains why this is the case. You need to own a portfolio of the future rather than relying on one of the past.
And I mean, he's even saying that aggressively 40% is the number. I got to tell you, I got more than 40% of my investment in crypto already. I think way more than that. Well, I mean, I guess we're here for a reason. We are the outliers. We have been in the space to win it. Bitcoin has now reached a new all-time high, guys. How high is the rest of the market going to go? Follow me for more information on what I think the market's going to do. Patreon.com/WorkingMoneyChannel. If you guys want some Working Money Channel merch, I got the perfect place for you. The Working Money Channel merch store. Link is in the description. And thanks so much for everybody who has already moseyed on over and purchased maybe a Bearable Guy mug or an XRP hat. Thanks so much, guys. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.